Matt Lenihan Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store R Kings. Eddie Hearn, huge fight week in Times Square. I want to ask you quickly though, there was a lot of people catching strays at that press conference. You got bodied within 5 minutes again. What's going on between you and Rick Reno?
We're quite good pals really, but he kind of tells me what he's going to say. And I'm like, I'm cool with it. I don't mind. But the amazing thing is, in the crazy world of His Excellency, Jack Catterall's ended up landing a big fight on Riyadh season. Like, he got criticised, he snapped back on social media at Rick Reno. His Excellency thought it was hilarious. He's like, done deal. You're fighting later on a year in Riyadh season. So that's great for Jack. You know, it's the big debate at the moment. I think I've told you before, His Excellency loves fuckery. Like the press conference yesterday, he loves that stuff. He loves the drama, he loves the controversy, he loves the views, he loves the narrative. And anything where someone's creating a little bit of noise, he loves that. And it worked well for Jack yesterday because he's gone from being Jerry to, you know, saying, put me on Riyadh season, I'll show you. So it's a big opportunity for him.
What did you make of the press conference yesterday? That was the maddest one I've seen for a bit of a long time, and it was nothing to do with you. You could just sit back and watch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm getting a little bit old for it. Like, you know, I was looking at Frank Warren and he was kind of looking at me going, what on earth's going on here? But like I said to you, when that goes back to the promoter of this show, which in essence is His Excellency because he's paying for it, it's noise. And noise means attention, noise means narrative, noise means numbers. And that's what they want. So it hasn't always got to be pretty. And I thought Oscar stood his ground well. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's a bit like, you know.
He doesn't give a fuck, does he?
What?
He doesn't give a toss, does he, Oscar?
No, I think that's quite refreshing. I think Oscar's kind of reached a stage in his life where he goes, say what you fucking want. I'm Oscar De La Hoya. And one thing he'll always have on everybody else is, he was one of the greatest fighters of all time. So he can say to Belanga, you'll never win a world title, mate. I won 11 world championships or whatever it was. So you can't lace my boots. And Edgar can't really say a lot about that. So sometimes you have to get personal, which I don't really like. But Oscar can rise above that with his CV, which is exceptional.
Jake Paul and Turki Alalshikh link up. I saw that photo and I didn't really know what to make of it because you see all the talk in the background about YouTube fighter, and obviously how the Canelo fight got made with Crawford was off the back of him and Jake Paul potentially being on, and now they're having pictures together. What do you make of it?
It's a weird look for both because, like, from His Excellency, he's kind of doubled down on the battle with Jake Paul. But one thing I'll say about His Excellency is he's quite diplomatic. You know, he's quite ruthless, but he's quite diplomatic at the same time. So, and obviously knows the noise of Jake Paul. I was surprised with Jake because Jake is a disruptor, and actually, Turkey fighting Jake Paul is good for Jake Paul because it actually, that's what he wants. He wants the system. He wants the game against him. So when he's conforming, you know, and going to see him and making a trip to the hotel, he's kind of conforming, and that's not really what Jake's all about. But Jake's smart, the Keys are smart, they know that there's business to be done, and that business obviously I'm involved with because we were in meetings last night about that potential. I have no idea, but...
Potential for what? Anthony Joshua?
Against Jake Paul. I mean, like, you know, like, the more you think about it, the crazier it is, the more you start to realise, I mean, this really comes down to Jake Paul. If Jake Paul wants to roll the danger dice, yeah, because you see with Jake will roll that dice for a huge amount of money. You know how big that fight is. It's going to make absolute fortunes. And for us, we never anticipated making that fight. But when I speak to AJ, and His Excellency says, will you fight Jake Paul as your kind of warm-up, maybe to fight Tyson Fury? I mean, what are you going to... Like, okay. Like, but it really, that thing really revolves around Jake. If Jake pushes that fight, I think he'll probably get it. But you'll find out if it's chatter or if it's madness. Like, if he takes the fight, he's a lunatic. But he is a lunatic. But maybe he's a lunatic. He wants big moments. He wants big money. Good luck.
Could be a very scary man. Anyway, Eubank Jr. fined by the board for misuse of social media. He's racked up a fair few fines over the past few months. What do you make of that? And obviously comments around the sauna and stuff.
It's like you're getting fined for use of social media, but not fined for use of the sauna. So I mean, like, I just feel like it's like a secret rule where it's like we all know that people use saunas and hot baths, but don't talk about it. That's like the board's position. Like when a fighter misses weight by £3, £2, and the board says, right, you've got 1 hour to get the weight off. What do you think they do? Go for a walk around the block? Like, weight waking is all about water manipulation. And water manipulation is done across a very different ways by high-level nutritionists who are experts in the safety of weight making. Much bigger experts than those at the board, who are great doctors and they have the best interests of the fighters at heart. But there does need to be a conversation of what is right and what is allowed. I think let's educate the fighters. Let's not just ban them for using a sauna, because that's what people are taught. Do you know what I mean? Hot bath, sauna, whatever it's going to be. That's how you make weight. And a lot of fighters do make weight like that, apparently.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Last one, I've got to ask you a two-part question. We saw obviously the news about Francisco Rodriguez and obviously the brutality of that fight. We actually have a fighter on this card in Iman Kataev who's been banned for 2 years, but jurisdiction needs fighting. What do you make of both?
That's a similar situation to I've been involved with before, with the difference in the agencies in terms of what the commission acknowledges. This isn't my show, so I can't really comment, but I guess the conversations with the New York State Athletic Commission are, well, what is IBA, ITA? Like, this is coming out now. I don't know why it's coming out now. That sounds strange in itself. But he has been part of the VADA program for 12 weeks or whatever. He's passed every test. That's who we acknowledge he's allowed to fight. That's what I guess is happening behind the scenes. So I'm sure there's conversations going on because everybody will want to be comfortable. But if this guy supposedly failed a test 2 years ago, or 18 months or a year ago, why is it coming out on his fight week? He boxed on my card on March 22nd. We didn't know about it. No one knew about it.
How does that make you feel? Because obviously it's not good.
If he's banned, it should be a global ban. But I've never heard of ITA or whatever it is. We know VADA, we know UCAD, we know. So it's like, it's very. I'll tell you this. I'm glad I'm not involved. I'm glad I don't have to make this decision because I've been there before. I've received a huge amount of criticism. You can't really get it right. All you have to do and can do is leave it in the hands of the commission, because they are the ones, they are the governing body that rules over the licensing of a fighter.
Has been an update on Rodriguez?
No. I mean, look, I have to be balanced on this in the sense of you have to give the fighter an opportunity to explain itself. In this situation, what's different is we know for fact that when Rodriguez boxed Galal Yafai, he had performance-enhancing drugs in his system. That's unquestionable. Now, how they got there is down to the fighter to explain. But we can fast forward that and say, my guy had to fight a guy that had that in his system. It wasn't fair. Physically, he went for a treacherous experience. He should be installed as the mandatory for the world title. The fight should be a no contest immediately. All of those things I think will happen. But you have to give the fighter the opportunity to explain why. But this isn't a guy who failed a test in camp and the fight was cancelled. This is a guy that passed the test in camp, failed on fight night. And by then it's too late because obviously it's after. So we have to look at maybe a way where, how can you test the fighter on the Friday or the Saturday just to double check they don't have anything in their system? You can't do that because the sample gets sent off by BARDA to the lab in Salt Lake City. The whole process will take 2 weeks. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But we can't let fighters enter the ring with it in their system because one day something terrible is going to happen, but I don't know the answer, I don't know the solution because you can't do that on the day. I mean, if you scientists tell me how, and I'd love to do it, but it's a really difficult one.
There for Katie Taylor tonight?
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously, massive fight for her. I believe she's going to do it in style tonight.
Appreciate it, thank you.